Hey everyone, this is a video to give you some ideas about modifying your portable guitar amp to get better battery life, better sound, and more functionality. This is a Vox DA5, but you could apply these ideas to any portable guitar amp, whether it's a Roland Cube, etc. So battery life, I've taken out the 4 C-cell holder and put in a deep cycle 12 volt 9 amp hour battery, AGM, that's the glass mat. And that's rechargeable and it lasts ages and I get a better sound because I'm running on 12 volts instead of 9. For recharging it, actually, so what I've done there is just made a little cable with the spade terminals that goes right onto the terminals of the battery. This cable comes up into a barrel plug, the standard size, I think it's 2.1 mil, and that goes into the back here of the amp just where the wall plug normally goes. Make sure you get your polarity right when you're doing this. And then to charge it, I've made this adapter here, which is a female barrel to bare terminals, positive and negative. I just plug in the male into the female, and then the other end, my battery charger, and I'm got direct access to charging the battery without having to take anything apart. I've got installed a little LCD screen here in the back panel. That's just taped on at the moment. And these wires go into the battery terminals, and I've got that going to a switch here, which is just drilled in to the back. And if I push that, there you go, 12.5. And push it again. So that way, if I'm busking or performing and I'm on battery, I'm not going to run it too low. That's the battery section. You also want to kind of hold your battery in somehow. I had a few bolts, big chunky bolts here with a washer. The idea was to get a bracket to hold that in place, but it's pretty solid. So that improves the sound running on 12. Now speaker, this came with a 6.5 inch speaker, which was okay. It was breaking anyway, so I replaced it with this Ted Weber, I believe it's an 8 inch. There's plenty of information on the internet, on forums, etc. about how to cut the hole, how to mount it, matching the ohms. This is 8 ohms. But that's a really good idea, is to upgrade the speaker, better sound, more air, and better bass. Now functionality, one thing I did, which I also have another video which shows this on a Roland Street Cube, was put in a little switch here which enables and disables the switching jack on the line out. So from the factory, if you plug something in here to either record direct or to plug in an external speaker, no, that's just headphones and a line out. So when you plug something in there, it disables the factory speaker. So I put this little switch in here to bypass that switching jack so that I can plug a line out for recording and still have the internal speaker going. If you look at my YouTube video on the Roland Street Cube, it's the exact same process, but just a really quick rundown. You just need to find this jack here, and it's soldered straight to the PCB board, and you just need to short the right terminals. So I'll just zoom in here. I won't go into detail, but I've soldered a 2-core wire to that one and to these two. So there's 6 pins here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got the outer 2 on the right hand side looking down and the top 2 on the left hand side looking down, and that goes to my switch here. And so when I flick this switch, I can enable and disable that switching jack, giving me more options. Again, if you want to find out really how to do that, you have to check out my video on the Roland Street Cube. That's step by step, but the same process. The other thing I just did, which there's also information about this on the internet, which you can find, is install this switching jack. So I've interrupted the normal speaker output here and put in this switching jack so that when I plug something in here, it disables the stock speaker and puts in my external cabinet instead. So I've got a 12-inch speaker up in there. So when I want a better sound, I can plug into that and it will disable this speaker and go straight to that one. And then when I unplug, I'm back on this, and that's as simple as plugging a jack in and out. And I've just drilled a hole in here, and because the thread on my jack is not very deep, I've had to use a spade bit to cut out to get the nut in there. So you may or may not have to do that depending on how deep the thread to your jack is. And that's everything. The battery, the bigger speaker, the functionality, which was the LCD screen, the line out jack, and the speaker out jack. Yeah, great little amp. So much better with a better sound and more battery power and more functionality for live and recording use. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you gave us some good ideas. All the best.